Alrighty, so today is Monday, June 15th, and we have a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for parts of southwestern Kansas here, into parts of southeast Colorado, parts of northwest and western Texas, and parts of eastern New Mexico. And then we have also another 1 out of 5 marginal risk up here for parts of South Dakota, North Dakota, and into Minnesota here. We're gonna be breaking down these threads here today. Obviously we're gonna focus on mainly the Kansas side of the weather event today, or the risk today. Tornado, we really don't have any tornado risk today for Kansas, mainly just in kind of northeast New Mexico here. Our wind risk, we have just a 5% wind risk for some of these, the same area in southwest Kansas here that was included in our marginal risk. So a very low end wind risk, some isolated damaging winds up to maybe 60 miles an hour there as the main threat there. Hail risk, we have that kind of small area of a 5% hail risk there. So hail up to probably quarter sized, in some isolated locations there, but again, not a high end threat today, just a lower end severe day overall, probably. But again, it is out there. So now we will break down kind of the models here and get into the parts, kind of the setup of this severe weather event. So I will start out, as I always do, by looking at our mixed layer cape here. So this is the HRRR run as of noon today. So as you can see, kind of, let me put our day one categorical. As you can see, throughout parts of Texas and New Mexico, we have a little bit of cape here, and even into parts of Colorado. But obviously, our cape today, or at least as of this time frame, is really not too high there. Let's see here, get an estimate. Probably actually very low amounts of cape, maybe like 100 to maybe 700 in some areas, which is really not the best cape. Maybe good enough cape to fire off some storms, but not really enough cape to get good sustained, like, severe development. So as we continue going on throughout the early afternoon here, so this is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, our cape kind of starts building a little bit into parts of southeast Colorado and southwestern Kansas here. So kind of in, I'd say, this sector here, our cape starts to build a little bit here. So let's take a look at southwestern Kansas here. So we're averaging probably about, on the low end, maybe 100 to about 700 or maybe 800 in spots. Which about 800 joules per kilogram is obviously not that much instability at all, but I would say it would probably be enough with a trigger mechanism. It would be enough to fire off a few storms in this area. And combined with other ingredients could give you just some very marginalized, isolated, severe weather. So this is going to be as of 5 o'clock. So yeah, this is as of 5 o'clock tonight. Again, we have some of these kind of isolated areas of maybe just minimally appreciable cape. As we continue going on through, so this is 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock tonight, 8 o'clock. We do have maybe some slightly more appreciable levels of cape, some more appreciable readings of cape, kind of filling into parts of our risk area here. So at most here, we're probably seeing up to maybe 1,000, maybe 1,100 in some areas, mostly in kind of southeast Colorado here. But this instability here in parts of southwest Kansas would probably be just enough, again, with other ingredients lining up to get a few storms to fire today. Again, very low end risk, but still gonna go ahead and kind of cover everything here. So this is gonna be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So this would be as of 10 o'clock tonight. Sorry about that confusion there. But this would be as of 10 o'clock tonight, 11 o'clock, midnight here, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or that's 2 o'clock, I think. But anyway, so as of kind of midnight through about 2 o'clock, or kind of in the later night hours, again, we do have that minimally appreciable cape kind of throughout parts of southwest Kansas here. But again, it's not going to be a whole lot of instability in this area. Again, only only a few storms, if any, really were to fire. It'd probably only be a couple storms, kind of isolated just in spots. Again, that's probably part of our reason why we don't have a very high end risk today, is because of our kind of lack of instability in this area here. So now we're going to take a look at our mixed layer convective inhibition here. So starting out kind of this period here at about noon today, we do have some convective inhibition in parts of Colorado, Texas, and New Mexico here, ranging from about probably maybe 50 to about up to even 330, 340 in spots, which is definitely a moderately strong to strong cap in maybe some of these areas here. As we continue, so as we kind of advance in the afternoon, so this is going to be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock this afternoon, we do have some convective inhibition in our main risk area here, or kind of at least on the Kansas side here. So we definitely have some convective inhibition there that might limit the chances for any storms to end up developing today, especially with limited instability in this area. Now, if we had higher instability, like past like 1500 to maybe 2000 joules per kilogram, this convective inhibition I probably wouldn't be worrying about as much. But with the lower cap or lower CAPE levels that we have today, this little amount of convective inhibition we have might be enough to stop or just halt any storms from developing today. So this is going to be as of 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. That convective inhibition kind of erodes here probably after 4 or 5 o'clock. So we may actually get some storms maybe earlier in the evening or late afternoon today. Again, we'll just have to see how that convective inhibition plays a role, or that capping, that kind of lid in the atmosphere, if it plays any role with today's setup. So this is going to be as of 7 o'clock. So 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. By about 10 o'clock tonight, our convective inhibition kind of starts building back into parts of southwest Kansas. And I think after about 10 o'clock, maybe our threat would be coming close to being over in at least some of these areas here. This is going to be 11 o'clock, midnight. Or no, sorry, this would be 1 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, definitely that convective inhibition building back in through the overnight hours here tonight. So you definitely see that kind of that lid that's in place there over southwest Kansas. And again, very much even into parts, or even into Texas here, parts of Oklahoma Panhandle, New Mexico, parts of southeast Colorado. So yeah, a lot of convective inhibition really building in here around what that'd be about 3 o'clock tonight. So this is 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock, and then that's as far as this model goes out. But yeah, I really think after about 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock tonight, somewhere in that time frame, our threat would be, any threat that we do have would be probably kind of ending after that time point. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at our 0 to 6 kilometer bolt shear here. Again, model the same, noon as of today on the HRRR run. We have shear from about, let's put back our risk area up again. But we have shear from about, I'd say 29, 30 to maybe about 40, 45, maybe even in some areas. But we definitely, again, in southwest Kansas here, we definitely have appreciable enough shear to get some supercell structures maybe to develop in some of these areas. So our shear is at a decent point, even kind of at the noon hour here. As we go on to the day, so yeah, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Or yeah, hold up. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. We definitely start getting some of those areas of higher kind of locally enhanced bulk shear here, which again, once you start getting to about 35, 40 knots of bulk shear, you can start getting supercell structures to actually develop. So we'll have to see if we get any supercells that can develop. Likely, if any supercells were to develop, they would probably not maintain themselves for a long period of time due to the lack of like enhanced instability in these areas, and a little bit of that, maybe that lid or that capping inversion in the atmosphere. But we do have enough shear that if any storms could get going, some of those could be maybe just marginal supercell structures producing maybe some isolated large hail and isolated damaging wind swaths in some of these areas. So yeah, we're shear from about maybe 40 to about 50 in some of these areas, which is definitely well enough to get some of those supercell structures. As we continue going on, so this would be about so this is 9 o'clock tonight. We still have appreciable shear from about maybe 40 to about even 50, maybe a couple knots above 50 in this case. So again, but by this point, we'd probably be approaching close to the end of our severe threat, at least for tonight. This is 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. Again, and even into the early kind of morning hours of tomorrow, we still have that appreciable bulk shear. But again, that would be more towards tomorrow's severe threat there. But I will make a little note here, though. Honestly, across like a lot of the state here, we have very good bulk wind shear across most of the state, even though we don't really have a high severe threat in some of these areas. But like especially up in northern Kansas here, areas like Hayes, Lincoln, Beloit, Great Bend, Phillipsburg, we have shear up into like maybe the low 70s, like maybe 70, 71, 72 knots in some places, which just again a note on that would be very, very, very good wind shear. That would be very well enough wind shear to get some of those rotating supercell structures in there. But again, I'm not highly focused on that area today. I just wanted to point out that as just a note of interest there. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, that should be it for our bulk shear analysis here. Now we're going to go take a look at our dew points. So now to look at our dew points for today, again, starting at noon, 12 o'clock this afternoon. Our dew points are not the greatest in some of these areas. We're ranging in southwest Kansas here. We're ranging from about maybe even low to mid 40s to high 40s up to like maybe mid 50s. So not great moisture, at least to start out here at noon today. But again, we'll just see how kind of how we progress here. So as we progress, so this is again 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock this afternoon, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Even throughout most of the day, our moisture is not going to be the greatest in these areas. So usually we would like to see at least 60, low 60s to up to even high 70s, even low 80s in some cases. So once we start getting to about 60s dew points, we start getting maybe just enough moisture for storms to kind of feed off here. But this air is definitely probably going to be on the drier side today because our dew points are only getting up into maybe the mid 50s, which is really not very high for sustained storm development and sustained storms just in general. So that might be one maybe limiting factor today to some of our storms is this dew point for storms to feed off of. Now, as we go throughout maybe the early morning, kind of the overnight hours, maybe a slight enhancement in our moisture return here. But again, without a trigger mechanism, we definitely would not be seeing any storms. Now, with today's setup, I will make a note. We do have something that will be able to trigger some of these storms called Lee cyclogenesis. So, what a Lee cyclone is it's basically an area of low pressure. So it's like a lee trough. And a lee trough is a trough that kind of happens on the lee or the downside of a mountain slope. So once you start getting out here into parts of Colorado, on your downward side of your mountain, you can get kind of a trough to form. And, you know, again, I don't know everything, so it'd be kind of hard for me to explain to you what a trough is, because, again, I don't fully know everything about them. But what I do know is that trough can enhance your, it can push warm air up into the atmosphere, or whatever. It can push that air up into the layers of the atmosphere, and obviously it can form storms that way. That's why sometimes where you live at and the geography of your area can also have effect on storm development. So even if you have poor readings on some of your key ingredients for the storm's development, you can still have a trigger mechanism that would be able to force that warm air into the atmosphere, and that's called forcing for ascent. And if you want me to discuss some of these things in just a different video, just let me know, because I would be willing to. Again, like I said, take some of these things I'm saying maybe with a grain of salt, because again, I don't know everything there is to know. I'm still very much learning a lot of this stuff, but I'm going to try to relay, the best information I can to you, and also take some of my timing with a grain of salt, because I'm still trying to convert or understand Zulu time into Central Daylight Time conversion. So again, take some of this stuff with a grain of salt, but again, I know some enough stuff to where I can try to provide at least the best information I can to you. But anyway, besides that side note, again, this is going to be it for most of our model analysis. And now I'm going to go ahead and jump over to our reflectivity analysis for today. Okay, so now we are going to analyze reflectivity for today's setup. So again, starting out at noon today, again, really we don't have anything in these areas except out for Colorado, New Mexico, some of these areas, but nothing on the Kansas side as of this time point. So this is going to be 1 o'clock this afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock tonight. So by about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock tonight, we do try to get some storm initiation in parts of southwest Kansas here. Again, in that marginal risk area. So really for most of the day, likely we're not going to be seeing any development in the southwest Kansas area. Now, again, by about 10 o'clock, there will likely be some of that convective inhibition, or that basically anti-instability building back into these areas again. So we'll have to see if some of these storms really can hold their own. Again, these storms wouldn't be posing too much of a severe risk today, just some isolated damaging winds and isolated large hail. No tornado threat in this area. Again, can't totally rule it out, but really it's pretty close to zero for today. The tornado threat is pretty close to zero for today. So we have maybe a few isolated cells kind of getting going for a little bit, or at least trying to form and then kind of dying off here. So this would likely, at least based on these models, would likely be more of a late night to the overnight hours threat. So from about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock to about maybe, let's see, 1, or no, it'd be about 10 o'clock, so, or 11 o'clock, midnight, or no. Yeah, so this would be from about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. So about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night to about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. And then after that time, the severe threat would probably be done, and really nothing's going to be out in these areas after that time frame. So yeah, really nothing out there in southwest Kansas. But anyways, yeah, that is going to be it for our severe threat breakdown for today. Again, like I said, some of this stuff, just take some of the timings and things with maybe a grain of salt here. Again, I'm still very much in the learning process, trying to figure some stuff out here. But again, I do know a few things, so I'm just going to do my best to share what information I can with you. If you enjoy these kind of videos and want more weather information, check out my channel, like some of my videos, maybe even consider subscribing. Even if you don't, just clicking on my videos would mean a lot to me. But anyways, until that is it for now, and I will see you in the next severe weather video. All right, see you guys.